The universe is bringing you a powerful Leo new moon on July 24th, 2025, exact at 3:11 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure and adjust for your location. The sun and the moon are conjunct, as they are for every new moon, this time occurring at 2 degrees of Leo, 8 minutes in your chart. You would identify where you have 2 degrees of Leo as a fiery new start is rising up. This is where you are being aligned with a new desire, creation, direction, and willingness to be stronger in who you are and follow what you want to move towards next. This particular new moon is occurring at the beginning degrees of Leo. Leo is fixed fire. So there could be something here that you're sensing you're meant to create, lead, courageously develop, or more fully own within yourself. This is a new moon that wants you to be inspired, motivated, and listening to what is sparking within you. In fact, I would say sparks would be one of the main energy signatures of this new moon, and I'm going to go through why that is. Now, you probably noticed that the sun and the moon at 2 degrees are exactly opposing this Pluto retrograde at 2 degrees of Aquarius, 36 minutes. That's where we always say, uh-oh, and we wonder what this Pluto is destructing, challenging, evolving, and transforming. It's important to note that this new moon is happening within the same territory as the Mars-Pluto oppositions that we had back in January until late April. And so this brings up a checking in point with who are you now and how are you allowing the more powerful consciousness of the universe to elevate you and transform you in what could feel like a very personal way. Because the energy of a new moon is quite subjective. Here you have the sun and the moon together on the same team, and they are aligned with what you want. And there could be such an intensity or drive here, and then the universe is creating a power struggle of some kind. And I know we've been talking about this opposition for a while, and there's many ways to understand it, but I feel that what's coming up with this new moon is, are you allowing yourself to be newly transformed, especially after the ongoing Mars-Pluto oppositions that were occurring in Leo? So if you look at, let's say, the first 4 months of this year, there was a challenge. There was something coming up that could have felt like it was working against you. It was challenging you. You maybe felt powerless, uncertain what to do, but it was activating a deeper part of this Aquarian frequency that is meant to elevate you to see yourself above just this self-identity, just above the ego self or what you are claiming or wanting right now. You're meant to see from a higher vantage point what you are being granted access to through an intense initiation. And that initiation is also because the opposition is occurring at the early degrees of the signs here, moving us into new territory in ourselves, challenging us to grow and evolve, requiring us to be a new version of ourselves that, again, you can have pushback, resistance, avoidance, a sense of I don't want to do that. I don't want to change. But with this ongoing opposition, Pluto is a evolve or die energy. There's a sense here of, with the planetary frequencies changing, we are meant to keep pace with those changes at a personal level. And so what is being transformed within you is ultimately assisting you in going into a new higher version of yourself. And I feel this as a very creative force. It's creation through chaos, creation through intensity. But there's meant to be a new sense of self here. And that Leo new moon is also asking you to be brave, be strong. Understand that this is part of what we each are here to embody in a new way. Meaning, I feel like there's a new embodied fire, maybe around what you desire, even though there's challenges, separation, disconnect that comes up. There's an energy of don't lose that fire or desire, because I'm feeling like what is really happening, the access point is through the new version of yourself that's coming online, future self, a more expansive cosmic self. And there could be a development here that highlights that pressure point, but brings it to your attention. And I'm feeling it's the trigger point that moves something forward for you. Because not only is this conjunction of the sun and the moon in opposition to Pluto, but as you can see, they're also in a beautiful trine to Saturn and Neptune, both retrograde in Aries, and now connecting to the exciting, electrifying Uranus at 0 degrees of Gemini through a sextile. So there is support for the developments that need to happen and the new parts of yourself that are coming online, that I'm seeing it as these electrical currents in the solar plexus. They could also be in the heart, because Leo is connected to both the heart chakra and the solar plexus. And you could feel, especially with the sun and the moon, that the sun is the solar plexus and the moon is the heart, and that you're being deeply rewired with these new sparks of life and potential that you're ready to own and live with and live from. This is such a dynamic new moon because of the interactions with the outer planets. I mean, interacting now with Uranus and Gemini, this brings about, I'm feeling this as a deeper remembrance of who you came here to be in this lifetime. And it isn't about what the world has expected of you or what you thought you had to do or be in order to be loved, which can be one of the lower consciousness expressions of Leo, which is, well, this is how I'll show up, this is how I'll act, this is how I will be in order to receive love and to be acknowledged and recognized. But that's meant to be shaken off, especially through the opposition to Pluto, which only wants the truth and authenticity. So there is a driving need here to be more authentic in self. And then it also correlates to how this Uranus is saying, but remember that you're so much more than today or this mind. You're traveling with codes of remembrance around what you came here to experience. And this Uranus in Gemini is about new experiences. Life picks up, things become more interesting. You have more interests, more curiosities. What am I ready to learn? What am I feeling is really exciting or interesting that is shaking me up in new ways? There's life changes with Uranus, and especially in Gemini, it changes how we live our daily lives, what we do in a day, where we go, what we want to see, who we interact with. There's a faster moving frequency here. That's why I'm talking so dang fast. But with it working directly with the new moon, there are these new codes, tripping over my tongue. There are new codes coming through that you're feeling or sensing are giving you an empowered sense of self. And I feel like there's now room in the energy body because of what Pluto has required us to transform and evolve. And so Pluto has been this very intense, perhaps mirror or projection. It's been amplifying something that, you've had to face and look at. And there could be a sense of, I'm willing to accept more of who I truly am at a core level, because I also remember my own magnificence and brilliance. I feel too that Uranus in Gemini, it's not only working with the mind, which is what we often think of Gemini as, it's working with those deeper levels of knowingness of what you came here to experience, learn, and apply, so that you're in a higher alignment with your own universal intelligence. And Uranus has the fast-moving changes. And so you could be feeling with this new moon, yeah, I'm done with this, I'm done with that, I'm complete with something, I'm moving away from something. It shakes up the status quo, and it reveals what we really want to now focus on and do, especially since there is a new appreciation of what is really resonating. And then you bring in these planets in Aries, which are now retrograde, allowing us to reflect and recalibrate the new that has come up since Neptune entered Aries March 30th and Saturn entered Aries May 24th. There is now probably a welcome slowdown of, let me sit with this, but I'm sitting with it, and my higher self, which is Neptune, is right here with me. And I'm making sure that this is all in alignment with who I came here to be. And it's so beautiful how there's a minor grand trine with the two planets here in Aries sextiling Pluto and sextiling Uranus. You see the blue lines here? It's called a minor grand trine with 4 outer planets. The new timeline of your reality is being created with your cosmic intention and consciousness. And it's been in the mix, it's been something that's been incoming, but now there's this awesome alignment that could be quite validating and affirming, especially at a personal level with this new moon. And with this minor grand trine, both Saturn and Neptune are here at the apex. So the midpoint between Uranus and Pluto, the apex, means that they're the focal point energy. As we're really pulling it back into the body, which is Aries, the physical self, blood flow, adrenaline, root chakra, fight or flight, those immediate responses. This is a calming energy. Retrograde in Aries with both Saturn and Neptune that moves slowly. And so they're sending some stabilizing frequencies to the new moon. I mean, look at how that Neptune is at 2 degrees 4 minutes, almost exactly trine, 2 degrees 8 minutes. There's a stabilizing force, higher trust, an honoring of what is unfolding. The fire signs are about movement, and so are the air signs. So there's a lot in movement, in motion, There's a lot of creation energy here too, that's cooperative. There's harmony, there's excitement, there's balance, there's forward moving energies here that are guiding a higher trajectory. Mercury is retrograde in Leo. This particular Mercury retrograde is interesting because there's only been a few aspects that Mercury retrograde makes. So this is a Mercury that's more contemplative and on his own, really sitting with himself, his creations, his power, and looking at what do I want to do next? What is interesting to me? What is inspiring me? I always find that Mercury retrogrades are awesome for getting caught up on projects, the backlog of things, what you need more time and space to take care of. This particular Mercury retrograde goes until August 11th as Mercury travels back to 4 degrees of Leo. Mercury retrograde is July 18th to August 11th. And at the end of the month, Mercury will be conjunct the Sun at 8 degrees of Leo. It's called an inferior conjunction. And this is where Mercury is bringing an insight back to the Sun. A reminder, perhaps even don't forget about this, or what do you think about this? How do you want to rework this or change this? So that is a part of this particular phase of the new moon lunar cycle as well. Is Mercury's going to bring back that message that maybe you forgot or missed the first time around? And then the other strong development here in this new moon chart has to do with the North Node is at 20 degrees of Pisces. Mars is at 21 degrees of Virgo, conjunct the South Node, squaring Venus at 22 degrees of Gemini. So this is a T-square. And what is happening here? There are parts of our mental selves that are figuring out, trying to solve something, wanting to be responsible and realistically assess what you need to take care of and what needs to go. I've had separate videos for you talking about this particular T-square, or I will if you haven't seen them yet. And so this Mars conjunct the South Node is a release of what is not working, what's not paying off. It's not getting you to where you want to go. There's a sense of I'm complete with this, it's over. I'm ready, to now focus on what will bring about results. And squaring this Venus, it's an interesting square because they're both in signs ruled by Mercury, right? Retrograde Mercury. So both this Mars in Virgo and this Venus in Gemini are ruled by a retrograde Mercury, and then they're in a square. And there's a sense of I'm trying to figure out a path or information. There could be a need to solve something. I mean, this is strong mental energy, intellectual, thinking it through, not wanting to rush. But because it's also working with the North Node, there's meant to be endings and release where the Pisces energy wants you to be freer or to feel that you are ultimately trusting yourself. Even though there can be the shoulds, the obligations, guilt, stress. If I close this out, what happens next? If I let this go, is that going to work? Is that going to be okay? There's just a lot of questions that are circulating in this particular T-square since it's connected to the Mercury retrograde. So there's things that maybe you're sitting with and you just don't have an answer for it. But so the mind doesn't have an answer, but your intuition does. Your soul does. Your soul does. And this North Node in Pisces is ruled by this retrograde Neptune conjunct Saturn, right, in Aries. So the message is make a responsible decision for yourself. Trust what you are really feeling is correct for you, because that's going to actually let you move ahead. I think this Venus, she's holding two choices or two directions. With Gemini, you know, it's two paths. And there's a sense of, well, what's the higher choice? What's the new choice? Even if I'm going to disappoint some people or they're going to be angry at me, that's part of the square between this Mars and Venus. People could be disgruntled about a choice, unhappy, frustrated. You get the point. But the Mars energy here is an ending. Because you're meant to choose more of your true self that maybe you're just getting to know. And so there could be doubt here, too much thinking, sleepless nights, questioning the bigger picture. But if you can give yourself some grace and sit with it, I know that's not always realistic. You can't always just sit with something for 3 more weeks. But you know, if you can sit with it until Mercury stations direct, August 11th, if you have time, that might allow you to move through the phases of this. These are mutable signs. Mutable signs are the chameleons. They're highly adaptable and restless. It could be that you have one idea one day and then it changes the next. And that could be why it's hard to choose or to decide something with this particular T-square. But when we look at it in terms of energetic hierarchy, the winner is the North Node in Pisces. And the new path, a new direction. How many times have I said the word new in 2025? I know. But it's truly what is being prepared for you. And remember, this Neptune and Saturn are at the apex of the new timeline. The new timeline here that we just talked about. And so it is the new timeline that you're ultimately choosing. You're choosing it for yourself, and you can have the intention that therefore you're choosing the new higher timeline for others, because I feel this Mars in Virgo conjunct the South Node is heavy with the obligations and responsibilities to other people. And that's why it's not just like this easy, clear decision. There's something that could be just weighing on you. But if you bring in the fact that you're choosing the best and highest outcome for everyone involved, Pisces loves that. And therefore you're opening up the energy, and maybe that brings some relief, at least mentally. And so Virgo is the people who work for you or work with you. Virgo is related to people who provide an expertise, who support, who bring something to the table that they have developed, that they're good at. It's technical expertise, it's engineering and medicine, it's architects, it's being able to take a lot of information and streamline it, analyze it, think it through. It's individuals who are good at solving something and providing that new path and new direction. And so they're the ones, and this could of course be you, right? This could be a part of your own experience right now, but there's a part of you that you're realizing what has been done previously doesn't actually fit with the new that's coming online and is related to the new timeline and the next reality. This Venus does need to talk it out and express it to get it off her mind. And Uranus will help with that. And Uranus, I think, is going to help bring about some faster solutions and developments. So even if you're at this stuck in a decision, a choice, everything I just said, I feel like this Uranus in Gemini brings about those exciting new options and solutions. And that could be something that breaks you out of the stagnation or mental loops. It's quite the new moon. It's a trajectory shift. It's delivering something that you're meant to fully embrace and embody. It's bringing in new sparks of creation. It's taking you forward. It's a powerful new moon for manifesting, placing your order with the universe, what you want to co-create and experience next. Because after the new moon, something's challenged, potentially destroyed in the name of evolution. It's not a fit for the new frequencies that are being formed and owned in the collective. And then after that energy, there's a new sense of, yes, this is clear to me now, and I'm on board. I'm on board with where I'm going to go next. So again, you want to identify where you have 2 degrees of Leo by house placement. In this example chart, it's in the 9th house, but it could be in any house in your chart. I do have a tutorial video here on YouTube that's called How to Find a Degree Point in Your Chart. I take you through some practices around finding that. So check out that video, and wishing you a very bright, exciting, and inspired Leo new moon journey, that this kicks off something that really matters to you and aligns you with more of what you want as we move into more of the second half of 2025.